All right. So welcome everybody to back to our teen time. Honey, if you're on, I did promote you to panel to promote people. If you can please promote everybody in. But it is July. Oh my goodness, it's Christmas in July. No, it is December 11th. And we are literally like 3 weeks away from the end of the year. I can hardly believe that we're about to start a new year. And I'm actually really excited about that. It's time. It's time for 2023 to wrap up, and it's time for us to soar in 2024, right? But we do have 3 weeks left. And so I wanted to talk about a couple of ideas that you can implement in terms of, content and stuff like that coming up. And just as a little bit of a reminder, this is our mantra, right? I will persist until I succeed. I was not delivered into this world in defeat, nor does failure course in my veins. I'm not a sheep waiting to be prodded by my shepherd. I'm a lion, and I refuse to talk, to walk, to sleep with the sheep. That is who we are as the Lionhood. And we are mounting up some momentum with Operation Rising Phoenix, right? That's where we are. So today we're going to talk a little bit about Impact 2024 that's coming up in January. We're going to cover a couple of reminders. I wanted to remind you guys about living life abundantly, review a little bit about that whole conversation we had last week on leading the conversation. Like I mentioned, I want to talk about some social media strategies that, or not only social media, but some other strategies that you can implement in wrapping up the year. And we're also going to go over a case study. I just noticed I didn't put the content information in there. So Impact 2024 is going to be an event that's going to be happening on January 13th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern. And so you can, move it to your time zone, but 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern, and it is a registration event. And so you can go to www.mycoachcompass.com/impact-2024. I will tell you, I am going into my 13th year of coaching. And this last event, the big summit, they covered stuff I had never heard before. And I thought it was fantabulous. And so I am so excited about this next one because if we want to grow, okay, let me stop share her for a minute. I want you to imagine that you got a job, and at that job, they tell you you can make, I don't know, let's say $50 an hour. Okay. You're hired for $50 an hour if you can meet these competencies. Okay. You start at minimum, but if you meet these competencies as fast as you can meet them, you can make $50 an hour. Would you be willing to develop those competencies? If you know that you already have the job, you have the job. Okay. The question is, are you willing to develop the competencies? Tim was talking about how he teaches skills classes, right? As a nurse, I learned how to like access ports, and whatever job that you had, I'm sure that you had some kind of special training in whatever areas, okay? And so my point being is this: every single person here has the same exact opportunity to make the same amount of money when we're talking about money, has the same opportunity to make the same exact impact. The difference between one that's making more impact or more income and less are the competencies that you have mastered and your willingness to invest in developing those competencies. That's all it is. We've talked about how the competencies include acquiring and supporting clients. And then I love this one, awakening and supporting coaches. Okay. Those are the competencies. So the question is, are you willing to develop the competencies to create a bigger impact, to create a bigger income? And these events, that's what they do. Okay. People are spending thousands of dollars to go to coaching programs and certifications and blah, blah, blahs. Okay. And we're offering the information to you here, okay, a lot of times for free. This one that's going to be happening in January there will be a fee associated with it. It's $49.95. But for those of you, and I know that there's several on here that have attended coaching programs, I'd love for you to type into the chat if what you paid was over $49.95. Okay. because the truth of the matter is that you guys are getting incredible, amazing. How much, Susan? Go ahead and take yourself off of mute.
I was just showing you my hands because they're covered in chicken juice.
Oh,
So I can't type.
what did you say? Five what?
Oh, over $6,000.
Yeah. So $49.95, is that pretty doable?
Pretty doable.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I wanted to point out. You know, everybody here has different ambitions and different goals, but what I want to say is that everybody has the same exact opportunity. Okay. The question is, are you willing to invest in developing the competency? Okay. That's all it is. That's what it is. So, anyways, that's Impact 2024, and you can register at mycoachcompass.com/impact 2024. Okay. And so I invite you guys to go ahead and do that. Now, just to review, remember that the qualifications for the cruise have changed and there is still time. And I know that there's a couple of people that are actively in the running. And if you have decided, I want to make it happen, you can still make it happen. And I invite you to connect with Eddie to find out how, because there's a couple of people in this crew that are going to be getting their butt on the boat. Okay. And then, of course, we've talked about it several times, but I want to make sure that it's top of mind as you're connecting with people about the active promotion that they're offering, where they can get $10 off up to 3 of them. And it's $7 flat rate shipping if they want to get it in between shipments. Okay. And when they order at least 2, they get a free bottle. Okay. A free blender bottle. Now, last week we talked about how our job as coaches is to lead the conversation to a place where you can help people, right? Our job is to lead the conversation. This is also a skill set that we can develop, okay? And that's what I'm hoping to help everybody develop. And I'm hoping to sharpen my own, okay? And so there's a conversation framework to get to the point where we can share our I help statement. I would love for you to type into the chat, what is your I help statement? I invite you to rewrite that I help statement at least once a week, okay, to keep it top of mind so that you're able, it's like on the tip of your tongue, so that you can share it with people. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to lead each conversation to a point where we can say, I help la 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 la, right? But we're not just popping it, because that's pretty transactional. We're trying to get to the point where we can help people transform and we can awaken people, right? So the framework, there's a little bit of a flow. Okay, so there's a connection process where it's very superficial. You connect first and you establish rapport, okay? And then you dive a little deeper and you go into the problem and you ask problem questions. And one thing that I wanted to add to last week's presentation is that when you ask problem questions, avoid using yes or no questions, okay? You want to avoid asking a question that will end either in a yes or a no. You want to ask open-ended questions, okay? So that people can expand on it. And if you're not quite sure what to ask next, you can always ask, tell me more. Okay, you can always say, tell me more. People will expand if you open it up. But what we want to do is we want to understand, what are the problems that this person is facing? Because if we don't understand their problems, we can't offer them a solution. Okay, but the next phase of the whole conversation is to offer a solution and go into the transition, or to talk about the solution in terms of, what is it that they want? What is the solution that they're looking for? We start there, and then we move into, this is who I help. Can we explore if what I do is a fit for what you're looking for? Okay. Now, I talked about last week, and for the nth time, and I will continue repeating this over and over and over and over and over until we all get it, that it is not enough to start a conversation, to start 10 conversations a day, to start 50 conversations a day, to start 100 conversations a day, if you don't move people through this process. Okay. So if you start a conversation and you're not logging it somewhere, there's no way of knowing where you are in the process and who you need to follow up with. Okay. Now, several of you have asked for the spreadsheet that I've been using, and the spreadsheet I've been using is from the Love, Serve, Grow program by Bob Heilig. Okay. And I love it because I get to see it all in one place. Different brains work in different ways. Okay. And I'm going to show you guys one other way that you can use to help move the conversation along. I'm going to show you both the spreadsheet that I use and this other way. And I'd love for you to let me know which one seems to resonate with you better. Which one do you think would help you better? Okay. So this checklist is a checklist that you would move each individual name through. Okay. And it's not digital. It is literally paper, and some people like paper. I like paper, okay? But what you would do is you started a conversation with somebody, let's say Susie Q, you put there and you put the date. And the question is, have you gotten to the, you can put their name down when you start in the connection phase. And then have you asked a problem? Have you acknowledged their problem and related? Have you done a feel felt found type of thing with them, right? Have you asked them, have you moved into the solution and asked them about their goals? Have you shared your I help statement and have you offered a solution? Okay. And you can check off here, yes or no, and you can write some notes. Okay. So for every single name, so let's say you started 6 conversations today, right here, you would just put their names on it. Okay. But then tomorrow you would come along and you would say, okay, is there anybody here that I can move the conversation along with? Right? Can I get to it? Am I at a point where I can ask a problem question? Or do I need to keep the conversation going a little bit more? Okay. And so this is about being intentional about moving your conversations to a place where you can offer them help, where you know where they need help, and then you can offer them help. Okay. Now, this is the same exact thing as this Love Serve Grow tracker. Okay. It's except that this one is digital and it's in the format of a spreadsheet. So you put their first name, their last name, their email, all the stuff. Okay. And then there's the conversation phase. Look at this. There's the problem phase, the connection phase, the problem phase, the solution phase, or the shared I help statement. Okay. And there's also, what is the status? Is this somebody I need to connect with? I mean, have I shared my I help and they're not interested? Is this somebody that I want to reconnect with in the future? And what's really cool about the way that this spreadsheet is set up is that depending on which one you choose, it has a different color code. See, that's like the contact in the future is purple. If I enrolled them, then it's pink. Okay. And so you can see at a glance that if they're in the problem phase, they're going to be in orange. And if I see a whole bunch of oranges, that means I need to go back to move them on to the solution phase, right? Which, oops, hang on. That one I guess is white. There's problem phase is orange. This one is brown. You see what I'm saying? So when you're using the spreadsheet, it has a different color coding system so that you know where you are in the conversation. But for some people, something like this may work better. Okay. So what I would love for you to do is to message me which of these systems you think would work better, the checklist or the spreadsheet. Okay. And I will get you a copy of whichever one works best, because ultimately what I want to do is I want to empower you to be able to move conversations to the point where you can help people. That's why you're here, right? Who wants to help more people, right? You want to help more people? You need to have a system. And this system is, I love the way that it flows. You know, I'm sure you've heard of funnels, okay? And I think a lot of times when I think of a funnel, in my brain, it's too businessy, okay? But what I started thinking about, it's not necessarily about the business and moving them down. It's about going deeper with people. It's about having deeper relationships with people. It's about having a deeper connection, right? So that's what we want to do is we want to go deeper with people. You don't want to just live in a superficial level, right? I know that that's what I want. And I'm looking to up my game in that arena. And I would love to kind of do that with whoever wants to join me. Okay. Now, I had shared that I wanted to share with you guys a couple of different ideas of how to connect with people during this time of the year. Okay. The first one is doing a 12 days of Christmas like series on your social media, talking about the 12, on the 12th day of Christmas, coaching gave to me. Okay. My program gave to me. What are some of the things that the program has given to you? I was thinking about how it has given me the courage to want something bigger, right? Or the permission to want something bigger and the courage to try something bigger, the tools to achieve bigger, you know? So there's the 12 days of Christmas that you can do that you would end up starting probably around tomorrow, right? Um, that would be the 12 days of Christmas. And then the other idea that I thought was a little bit brilliant is, a lot of times this time of year, people are sending Christmas cards. How about picking up the phone and calling people and saying, "Hey, with the holidays, I was thinking of you and I just wanted to reach out and see how you're doing." Right? And so, what I'm intending to do is reach out to my inactive clients that way. Okay. So, I'm going to reach out to say, "Hey, I was thinking of you. It's the holiday season. I'm curious to find out what is it that you're looking forward to in 2024? How are things going?" Okay. So, it's a great way to connect with people. It's all about connecting with people, right? Now, is Heather on? Let me see here. No, Heather is not on. I know she was doing a health assessment, but I did want to do also a little bit of a case study with you guys, as we've been trying to do recently, right? And there was a conversation where a client reached out and said, "Hey, can you send me your website so I can buy some food?" It's not a client. It's like just a candidate, somebody that randomly reaches out to you and says, "Can you send me your website so I can buy some food?" How would you respond, Patricia?
I want to know more about what their goals are. So the more I know about your goals, the more I can help you.
Yeah. So we would want to know, hey, what is it that you're looking to achieve? Is there anything else we might want to know?
Why?
Why? Why is also, I mean, and that definitely connects us to their goals. Why do you want to order food? Anything else?
How'd you hear about me?
Yeah. How did you hear about me? How about what do you know about what I do? Because in this particular situation, the person reached out and said, "So I was ordering food from somebody else, but they're not doing it anymore. And so I thought I would just reach out to you because I know that you sell it too." So I was like, "Okay, so what do you know about what I do? What did you do the last time?" "Well, I bought some of the food but I didn't." And then I asked, "What kind of results did you have?" "Well, I didn't really do it. I ended up giving stuff away, gave away my food." And so and this was a conversation with another coach. They were sending me screenshots and we were going through that. And what I wanted to point out to you guys is that you are all welcome to do that, right? To take a screenshot and send it to me. This is the way that I can help you move through kind of develop the skill set of taking people through that framework. Okay. So I asked the question, "What do you know about what I do?" And they said, "Well, I know that you sell food. And what I did before is I bought the food, but I didn't end up doing it and I ended up giving it away." And so then the question I had was, "So what will make this time different?" Do you see how that question, "What will make this time different," helps kind of guide into the problem? What would be a problem of just sending them to a website to buy food, or even just kind of saying, "Oh yeah, give me your information, I'll go and buy you the food." What would be the problem there?
They're not getting the full value of what they're buying. They're spending money on something. It's like going and buying a crossword, not a crossword puzzle, but a jigsaw puzzle, and only getting half of the box of pieces. You can put it together, but you're never going to make the full picture, and you just paid for a full 500-piece puzzle.
So you know that. Do they know that?
You have to introduce them to the value, and what you just said was exactly what happened to me earlier
Yeah.
this past month. I had a client that came on board and left because her sister-in-law stopped doing Optavia. She had gone off in another directions and she wanted to get back up on track. And I asked her, I said, "Well, what does that mean to you, getting back on track?" So you got to qualify it. And then I asked her what she thought I did. And she said, "Well, you basically I order food from you and you help to support me. But that's why I'm calling you, is because I want a different experience than what I had before. And I'm like, well, that's cool. Thank you so much. What would be different about it?
I love that. So with this person, we wanted to find out what was their experience before, which she didn't have a positive experience. I mean, she wasn't complaining about it. She was owning the fact that she didn't do it, right? She didn't do it. And so therefore she didn't see results. So then my question is, well, what will make this time different?
She
Because
actually did see results. She did see results. She was able to achieve, she lost like 50 pounds or something, like 45 pounds,
nice,
but
nice.
brought it back. It came back, and she kind of she tried connecting with the coach before, but it was a hot mess, and there was no connection. There was no support. It was just she was just kind of floating out there. So she had results before, and she knows she could get results again, but she wanted to do it a different way. And I was open to hearing that, and she was open to hearing what coaching was going to be like. And she's still, quite frankly, she's still learning that, because the whole connection thing, that's a
So
challenge.
in the situation that I had this past week, the person did not have results. They did not do. They just bought food, right? They just bought food. And so, and when the coach asked, what do you know about what I do? All she knew was that she sold food. She didn't know about the rest of it. So then the coach asked, can we schedule a time so that I can understand more about your goals and share? Then she said, I'm too busy. I'm just too busy. There's no time. I don't have time to connect. So not only was this person not aware of what the whole puzzle looked like, as Tim was talking about, okay, but she was not willing. Okay. So I need to do a training. I know that we've talked a little bit about the stages of change. Okay. But our job as coaches is to identify, where are these people and what do I need to do to move them to the next level? Okay. Because what we can do is we can say, well, she doesn't have time. She doesn't want to make time. She's not ready. So I'm not going to deal with her. Okay. But ultimately, she's really just in the contemplation phase. Okay. Yes, Tim.
Just a quick point. I found that a lot of times people don't understand what their own expectations are. They've formed expectations based on partial information. So when you start to help them realize what their expectations could be, that opens things up, because now you just said, oh, really? Well, I didn't know that. I didn't do that before. Or I didn't do any of that before. And that gives you now an opportunity to kind of establish, what are your expectations from me? Because if I know what you got before and it wasn't what was meeting your expectations, now I can clearly define what you can expect from me
Not only expect from you,
and
but
from
even
yourself.
expect from themselves,
Right.
right? That's what we call awakening. So people will come to us and say, I want to lose some weight. Tim came to me, said, I want to start a business, not looking to lose weight, but there was an awakening that happened that, oh, by the way, you could have that too, right? And when people come to you, they're coming thinking like this. And our job as coaches is to help them expand from wherever they are. Now, I understand that all of us are looking to move what is it? Move the, you know what I'm talking about. Move the needle. Move the needle. Thank you, Donald. Move the needle. We're all looking to move the needle in terms of, I want to see pounds lost. I want to see like actual impact. I want to see income. I want to see a change. Okay. Some people that you connect with, the change will be in their stage of change. Okay. And you becoming a master at identifying which stage of change they are helps you not only with the tactics to help them move, but also with your expectations and your time investment. Okay. Now, A lot of time, like somebody that reaches out and says, send me your website because I want to buy the food, you're thinking, oh, they're ready. No, no, this person clearly is not ready to change. Okay. And ultimately, what ended up happening is that she has now ghosted the conversation. Okay. So why? There's many different reasons why, and we will continue diving into that at another time. But what I want you guys to understand is that even when you have a client start, even when you have a coach start, okay, you're thinking, ooh, they're ready. Let's go. Right? We have to identify where are they in that continuum? How aware are they of what's possible? How willing are they to allow themselves to want more? Okay. All of these things are important for us to understand as coaches because sometimes the biggest shift is going to be them going from maybe a pre-contemplation or into a contemplation phase. And that's all they're ready for. That's why I say that that health assessment is actually their first coaching call. Because whether or not they're ready to start the program, they're ready to put their credit card out there, they're ready to put the work in, regardless of that, okay? What you're doing in that health assessment, like Tim said, a lot of times people are not aware of what they can expect, okay? Not only from you, but more importantly from themselves, okay? So our job as coaches in asking questions in that awakening process, that's what the awakening is. That whole awakening term blew my mind for many years. I'm like, what does that mean? How do you do that? Well, that's going from being aware, being unaware to being aware of what's possible, right? It's waking up to what's possible. And so that's what we do as coaches. So today I actually had another tip call and I'm wrapping up. I know we're running out of time, but I did a meet and greet with a new coach. And on that new coach conversation, we discovered she needed to be awakened to what was possible. Right. And we were thinking, oh, she signed on as a coach. She's ready to run. No, no. So we met her right where she was at. And we said, did you know that this is possible? Okay. And remember that our brain automatically goes to our previous, the way that we decide our expectations are based on our previous experiences. So, Patricia, very quickly, when we originally approached you about coaching, how excited and open were you to that?
Not.
On a scale from 1 to 10.
Not.
And what changed that made you even willing to consider it?
You know what? I really don't know. The best I can describe it is a thump on the head from God. uh, but beneath that, you and Lynn and I talked about my apprehensions, my smoke screens, I guess. Well, I'm not a health professional. I'm not this, and I'm not that. And you just kept meeting me where I was.
And what happened, the way I remember it, is that you were concerned about whether you could do this, whether because you were a health
Yeah.
professional or how you could find clients, all that you
Yeah.
weren't quite sure. Can I do this?
Yeah.
Has anyone ever felt that way? Can I do this? All of us have felt it at some time or another. Okay. Whether it's when you're starting the program and you're saying, can I lose 5 pounds even? Right. Or can I even help one client? Can I make $500? Okay. And every single one of you that are on here have made at minimum $500. Okay. But at some point in time, you wondered, could I? Is that something I could do? Okay. And so by our conversations, that thump on the head was really becoming aware that, oh, wait, I've done it before in other areas. If I'm willing to learn, I can do it again. And all of a sudden, a possibility, just a little window of possibility was open that you were able to consider, oh, wow, this is exactly what I love doing. And all of a sudden, it was like the light came in. Yes? It was so beautiful to watch Patricia in that transition. And that's what we are about. We are about helping people transform, and the transformation happens up here. And so what I want to really encourage you guys on is understand, even when someone's being difficult like that client. Okay, in the past I would say they're being difficult, just leave them alone. La, 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 okay. But as I'm learning about the stages of change, I'm like, wait a minute. She just needs that awareness. And if she'll stay connected, we can help wake her up. She may not stay connected, right? But that was what I had for you guys today. So I hope that is helpful. You can go ahead and take yourselves off of mute to wish each other a good night. And I will see you guys next week.
Good
Have a
night,
good-
everybody. Thank you, Donnie.
Bye.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone.